Welcome to Reddit Blue Pill Red Pill, where we go over Reddit stories and predict the outcome of the stories. Please listen and play along by typing in your choices into the comments. There are 5 seconds to answer, or you can pause the video. Today we have a story about a man who does not want to help his cheating ex-wife. All right, let's get on to the story.
I, 40 male, married to my ex-wife Lisa, 40 female, 20 years ago. We were married for 5.5 years, and we had 2 children together who are 18 and 16 now. Our marriage ended when I found Lisa in bed with another man after coming home from work. Lisa tried to deny an affair was happening and insisted she had simply offered this guy a place to crash for the night. But even if I had tried to ignore the more obvious signs and believe her, she sent our kids to my parents' house and had not mentioned anyone staying over, so I would have been a fool to believe her.
The OP used to be married to his ex Lisa, and they have 2 older children together. It seems they have been separated for a while by this point, and the OP is giving background information on why he decided to divorce Lisa. When I read that the OP had found his ex-wife Lisa in bed with another man, I assumed he had caught them having sex, but it seems he just found the 2 sleeping in the bed. Lisa denied they were having an affair, but the OP noticed that his kids were not home and had been sent to the OP's parents' home. I guess it still could have been a coincidence, and it seems that, just based on this and nothing more, the OP decided to get divorced. While I do think what the OP saw is incriminating, does it warrant immediately asking for divorce? What do you think? If you found your spouse asleep in bed with another person, would you divorce them with no other proof available? If so, type Q1 blue in the comments. If you think you need more concrete proof of cheating before asking for divorce, type Q1 red.
After I filed for divorce, Lisa found out she was pregnant, tried to tell me I was the father and that we should get back together. Then said I couldn't be the father, which I already knew because I had a vasectomy and did all my checkups. Then she miscarried and blamed me, citing the stress of divorce and fighting custody of our kids as the reason, even though she was the one who wanted sole custody of our kids and for me to pay $5,000 a month in child support, which wasn't even possible. She lived with her affair partner, and around this time, he got arrested, and she stayed in his house. He served about 2 years. So our divorce was finalized and everything. We had shared physical and legal custody 50-50 and had a court-ordered parenting agreement that spelled out everything.
Lisa's story about her friend just innocently falling asleep on the bed has come crashing down. She got pregnant by this man and even moved in with him. This man even went to jail for 2 years, and Lisa still stayed with him. Wow. Not only that, but she was fighting the OP for full custody of their children and wanted to raise the kids in the house of the man who broke up their family. Or could there be another side to this? Maybe Lisa was a stay-at-home wife and took full care of the kids and felt the OP could not take care of the kids since he had no experience and had left the children's upbringing entirely to Lisa. Even if that was the case, should the person who broke up the marriage by being unfaithful be allowed to ask for full custody of the children and basically take the kids away from the spouse who got cheated on? What do you think? Should the person who was the cheater and broke up the marriage not be allowed to ask for full custody of the children? If so, type Q2 blue in the comments. If you think being a cheater has no bearing whether someone should have custody of their children, type Q2 red.
Our kids hated Lisa's husband. He was a POS and highly jealous of the fact Lisa had to share custody of the kids with me. He was an overbearing drill sergeant with them. He'd check their stuff that moved between houses with them, including their school backpack. He'd confiscate any food they had with them, even if it was from school. Most of the time, he ate it himself or tossed it in the trash. He'd write notes to me and insist my kids give them to me. Lisa knew all this. The kids complained to her, and it made Lisa complain to me, and she took me to court once saying I was engaging in alienation because the kids complained about her husband to her. The judge didn't entertain her beyond letting her make her case in court.
Not only did Lisa break up her family, but she put her kids into the home of the man who she cheated on the OP with. That must be tough on the kids, knowing they are living with the man who broke up their family, but on top of that, this man is also seemingly abusive and controlling. Lisa took the OP to court because she felt the OP was causing drama between her kids and her new partner. She claimed that the OP was the reason why her kids kept complaining to her about her new partner. But could it just have been the kids trying to communicate to their mother about the abusive behavior they have been subjected to by their new stepfather? Or could it be that the stepfather wasn't as bad as the OP and kids made him out to be, and the OP really did poison his kids against the stepfather? What do you think? Did Lisa have a point about the OP causing parental alienation? If so, type Q3 blue in the comments. If you think Lisa's case had no merit, type Q3 red.
Lisa and her husband's personal life was a mess. She found out he lied about having a kid when they met, and she found out he had fathered another kid when him and Lisa were cheating behind my back. Those kids moved in with them full-time, and Lisa tried to sue for more child support, which I did pay some, but not a large amount, because we had the kids an equal amount of time. My kids struggled with everything, and they talked to me. I had to fight to get them into therapy because Lisa refused to consent, and she accused me of trying to ruin them with an expense like that. Even when I agreed to pay the full amount, she said no, but the judge overruled her when I took this to court.
To no one's surprise, the stepfather had two secret kids behind Lisa's back, and those kids eventually also lived with Lisa and the OP's kids. I am surprised Lisa put up with all this, but she must either really love her new partner or she may be afraid of him, or maybe both. The OP's kids were of course deeply affected by all of this turmoil and asked for help via therapy. Lisa fought against it because of the cost, but even when the OP offered to pay in full, she still protested and had to be taken to court. Why do you think Lisa was so against taking the OP's kids to therapy? There may be some truth over her initial objection due to the high cost of therapy. If their health insurance didn't cover that cost, and with 4 children in the house, maybe the price would have been too high for her to bear. But that doesn't explain why she was still refusing even when the OP offered to pay the full cost of therapy for his kids. What do you think? If you believe Lisa was only fearful of the cost of therapy, type Q4 blue in the comments. If you think Lisa didn't want the kids to air the family's dirty laundry to outsiders, type Q4 red.
My kids were under increased pressure to bring stuff from my house to their mom's house so the other kids could play with their games. My kids hated going to their moms, but my first attempt to get majority/full custody failed. The kids were too young for their voices to be heard also. I did what I could to support and be there for my kids. They grew increasingly unhappy there. And finally, 3 years ago, I was awarded full custody because of the wishes of the kids. By that point, Lisa had 2 more children with her husband. But my kids never bonded with a step or half siblings and did not care about maintaining contact with them and still wanted to live with me alone. Child support was then changed from me paying to Lisa paying. She had a reduced once last year for financial difficulties facing her household.
The OP's kids seem to not want anything to do with their mother, her husband, and their 4 children. The OP now has full custody of his kids, and he seems fine to not push his kids to have a relationship with their step-siblings. But is this healthy for them? After all, they are their siblings as well, at least the 2 Lisa gave birth to, and not having anything to do with them would be punishing those kids for something they had no control over. What do you think? Would you encourage your kids to be a part of the lives of their step-siblings? If so, type Q5 blue in the comments. If you think sibling relationships should not be forced, type Q5 red.
In the last couple of months, Lisa has contacted me a grand total of 42 times via email, asking for financial support and for me to send our kids' old stuff to her house. I wrote back one time, clearly stating I would not, and I ignored further emails. My lawyer has them documented, but that's the most I've done with them. Instead of leaving it alone, she confronted me and tried to tell me this sob story about struggling to feed and clothe and take care of the 4 kids in her household. But I shot her down and told her to tell the sob story to someone who cares, because her household is none of my concern. Only our children are my concern. She reached out to the oldest too, and both kids blocked her once they realized she would start something. In response to what I said, she wrote a very lengthy email that I skimmed, and she sent a former friend of ours who sided with her in the divorce to confront me about abandoning her twice and being cruel. I shut that person down. It was 12 or more years ago when I last saw them. However, I am aware that Lisa is still the mother of my kids. I know they don't care for a relationship with their mother, or step or half siblings right now, but that could change. And maybe I am not creating the best environment for them right now. More specifically, because of how I spoke to Lisa when she asked for help. I know all that did was worsen things between us. Does this make me the a-hole? That's what I want to know.
The kids are now much older and live with the OP full-time, and they seem not to want any type of relationship with their step-siblings or their mother. Lisa has asked for help from the OP, and he refuses to provide any. Even helping with simple things like sending Lisa their kids' old things they no longer may want because they outgrew them or no longer use, the OP still refuses to help. This would literally cost the OP nothing, and it would help his kids' stepchildren, but he doesn't care. On one hand, I can understand that he wants nothing to do with his ex-wife and her kids from her new husband, and can understand that he can take pleasure in not helping her due to what she did to him and their kids. But Lisa's kids are still his kids' step-siblings, and knowingly hurting them just to get back at his ex is not a good look. This likely also contributes to the apathy his kids feel for their step-siblings, since if their own father shows no concern for them, then why should they? But again, the OP truly has no obligation to anyone but his own kids, and it is within his right to choose to not help Lisa and her kids. Some may even say she is getting what she deserves. We have come to the conclusion of the story and have to decide who is the a-hole. If you think the OP is the a-hole for not helping Lisa with her kids' 4 step-siblings, type Q6 blue in the comments. If you think the OP is not the a-hole for not helping Lisa and her kids, type Q6 red. Now let's listen to a few comments.
She knows you are a nice guy, but that's why you're a father and good backup. Get a court-approved app and block on everything. Have your lawyer send her a cease and desist letter about any personal contact and a threat of restraining order. Not likely, but good threat. This is where you need to be strong. She gets nothing. If your kids come to you begging to help her, then it's your call. People's actions have consequences. Stay strong, my brother. Your kids are lucky to have you and are a great role model. Not the a-hole. She played FAFO and now she knows. Not your mess to clean up.
So she cheated on you, tried to manipulate you with a pregnancy, tried to drain you financially, had more kids with a loser, and now she comes crying to you for money, and now you are the bad guy? Yeah, no, not the a-hole, not even a little. She is laughably the a-hole here.
Your ex-wife is a typical cheater. She wanted everything her way and didn't care about the kids. She's mad because she's stuck with a guy and in a crappy situation and sees you doing better without her. Make it clear if it isn't about the kids not to reach out. I would also tell her husband to tell his wife to stop reaching out to you.
The kids don't want a relationship, and even if they did, they are both old enough to communicate with her. So block her everywhere and tell her any attempt to contact you will be classed as harassment, and you'll be going to the police. She must really think you're an idiot if she can cheat and then expect you to pay for the crotch goblins she popped out with her partner. Not the a-hole. Listen to your kids. What they want. They are kids. Not idiots. They have enough reason and agency at their ages. Support them. Validate their decisions. Your kids will be forever grateful to have you as the parent who had their back and fought for them at this fraught moment in their life. Block Lisa on all platforms and get a parenting app to communicate. Her life is a self-inflicted mess, and you'll do well to save your kids from it.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching all the way to the end and participating. Please consider liking and subscribing to watch future videos. Goodbye.